A very good morning, all of you. Let's all wait for a couple of minutes so that all of our friends would join. Let's wait for a couple of minutes so that the remaining people also would join us. Yes, guys, we'll just wait for 2 more minutes and then continue with our today's session. So, hi, all of you. So, we'll just get started with today's session as we've been discussing in the previous session about basic features and basic operations in Java. Now, we'll try to look at the object-oriented programming in today's session. So, before we get into today's session, we will just look at what is that we are going to get out of this program and what is this program is all about. So as we have told you, you will be trained on Java basically, and today is the last session wherein we'll complete our training today. And today will be the last session on the basics of Java, which is not really talking to you or explaining it to you something new because you have been learning Java, you have been writing a lot of programs, you have been attending a lot of exams, and might be for an entire semester you have been working on Java. So we wanted to give you the insight of or the basic requirement of somebody who knows Java will have to be thorough with certain things. Only those things we have been covering it up so that you get refreshed again before you attempt for the exam. Now, this is what we are planning it for the next thing to do. That is, you will have a screening test, that is a screening exam today at 5 p.m. You will have an exam which will be available from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. and that particular exam will be online, will be checked on your programming basics. I repeat again, you will be done with the screening exam today between 5 to 6 p.m. for a 30 minutes duration. You can log in anytime after 5 p.m. so that you can attempt for 30 minutes exam, and you have to complete that 30-minute exam and then you'll be screened. I repeat again, we will send a link through the proper channel. We will send the screening test exam link uh, through the proper channel from your faculty. You will receive this exam link and you'll have to log in and complete this examination. And this exam will be for 30 minutes of duration and you will be screened based on your programming skills. And the results of this screening test. This screening test results will be announced on 28th, that is tomorrow at 9 p.m. I repeat again, the screening test results will be announced tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. you will be announced with the results of the screening test that is going to happen tomorrow. That is going to happen today. That particular exam results will be published day after tomorrow. I'm really sorry for that. There is a confusion. Let me just repeat it. Today you will have the exam at 5 p.m. and tomorrow you will be given with the result at 9:30 a.m. And also, as I've told you, the screening test results are based on the assignments that are given and the blogs that are given and the screening test that you are going to attempt it today. And I request everybody to send the assignments that are given. There are only few programs that are given. I would request everybody to send those programs to the given email address here. See here, my email address is given nagakumar@devspark.in. Please send all of your assignments and also the blog links. I repeat, everybody, you will have to send all of your assignments and also the blog links to this email address called nagakumar@devspark.in, because you'll not only be screened based on the exam that you are writing it, but also you'll be screened based on the assignments that you have submitted and also the blog that you have written. ఈ బ్లాగ్ ఎలా రాస్తున్నారు అనేది కన్సిడర్ చేస్తాము, అండ్ మీ అసైన్మెంట్స్ ఎలా చేశారు అని కన్సిడర్ చేస్తాం, అండ్ ఆ స్క్రీనింగ్ ఎగ్జామ్ మీరు ఏదైతే ఈవేళ అటెంప్ట్ చేయబోతున్నారో ఆ స్క్రీనింగ్ ఎగ్జామ్, ఇవి మూడు బేస్ చేసుకొని రేపు పొద్దున 9:30 కల్లా మీ రిజల్ట్స్ అనౌన్స్ చేస్తాం. అండ్ ఆల్ ద పీపుల్ హూ ఆర్ అటెంప్టింగ్ ఇట్, అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్ we will screen the top 60 people among entire set of students ఎవరైతే ఉంటున్నారో వాళ్ళందరిలో నుంచి టాప్ 60 ఆఫ్ దెమ్ విల్ బి స్క్రీన్డ్ అండ్ యూ విల్ బి దేర్ ఫార్ ద ఐడియేషన్ ఫెస్ట్. ఐ రిపీట్ ఎవ్రీబడి, ఈ స్క్రీనింగ్ ఎగ్జామ్లో ఎవరైతే టాప్ 60 వస్తారో those top 60 will be participating in a fest called Ideation Fest, where this will happen on 29th, that is day after tomorrow. ఈ 29th రోజున ఫుల్ డే యూ విల్ హ్యావ్ ఎ ఫెస్ట్. ఈ ఫెస్ట్లో ఏంటంటే ఆ సెలెక్ట్ అయిన 60 మెంబర్స్ ఎవరైతే ఉంటారో వాళ్ళలో ప్రతి ఒక్కళ్ళు ఒక డెవలప్మెంట్ ఐడియా, యాప్ డెవలప్మెంట్ ఐడియా అంటే మొబైల్ యాప్ డెవలప్మెంట్ ఐడియా, వేర్ where we wanted to give you a chance to pitch your idea. Everybody of the 60 members will have to submit an idea and explain that idea for 10 to 15 minutes, and everybody will be given with a slot. 29th రోజు 10 o'clock నుంచి 5 o'clock మధ్యలో ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి ఒక 10 to 15 minutes ఆఫ్ టైం ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది. ఆ 10 to 15 minutes ఆఫ్ టైంలో యూ విల్ హ్యావ్ టు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ your idea. What is your idea that can be developed as a project, that can be developed as a Android application? So Allah, you can submit your idea. I repeat everybody, day after tomorrow, that is 29th rojna, 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock, you will have this ideation fest for all those selected students who have been selected in the screening exam or the screening test. And people who want to submit this idea will have to come online. We will give the link and everything prior, that is 28th roju 5 p.m., that is tomorrow 5 p.m. you will be given with all the slots who will have to pitch your idea when, and a complete information anedi we will give it to you on 28th 5 p.m. itself, so that you can be prepared to present your idea for 10 to 15 minutes. And people who are giving best ideas will be awarded, and that particular idea will be shortlisted for development. I repeat again, మీ ఐడియాస్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో ఆ ఐడియాస్కి మంచి ఐడియాస్ సబ్మిట్ చేస్తే దెన్ ఎస్ దోస్ ఐడియాస్ విల్ బి అవార్డెడ్, అండ్ ఆల్సో యూ విల్ బి that particular idea will be shortlisted for the development. Got it? So this is the Ideation Fest. Ideation Fest is all about generating new ideas, gathering new ideas, and pitching new ideas. Today, this has been one of the prominent thing in the society today in IT world, wherein you want to start a new organization. Then yes, you should have your own idea, you should have your own product so that you can pitch it and you can get funded, you can develop your own product. So we wanted to give you that experience for the 60 people who have been shortlisting in this in this exam that we are going to do it today evening. So whatever the screening exam that you have it, that particular screening exam lo clear ayin vallu, you will get this chance to be part of this ideation fest, where everybody can pull in మీరు మీకు వచ్చిన ఐడియాస్. నా దగ్గర ఇది ఒక క్రియేటివ్ ఐడియా ఉంది, దిస్ కెన్ బి మేడ్ యాజ్ అన్ అప్లికేషన్, అలా ఉండే ఐడియాస్ని యూ కెన్ సబ్మిట్, అండ్ ఎవ్రీ క్యాండిడేట్ a minimum of one idea can be submitted out of the 60 students. Got it? This is all about your ideation fest. And then once this ideation fest is over, for all these 60 students, we will give you a free attempt. You need not have to pay anything. You will be allowed to take an international certification from Microsoft called Microsoft Technology Associate, and that will be in the category called Java. Everybody who have been shortlisted and who have been part of this ideation fest will appear for an international exam on 30th of December. I repeat again, on 30th of December, all the 60 students will attempt for this certification on 30th of December. And on the same day, the results of this certification will be announced. I repeat again, on the same day, the results of this particular certification will be announced to you so that we can we understand how many of you have learned Java properly, what is your capability in Java that can be identified, and you will directly get this certificate from Microsoft. It's not that I will sign and give it to you, or my company will give it to you, or somebody else will give it to you, but this is a certificate which is given by Microsoft and which will be internationally valid. Got it? So that kind of a certification you will attempt and you will get the result on the same day, that is on 30th of December. And the major motive of this program is we wanted the Phoenix ambassadors for 2020 and 21. That is for the academic year 2020 and 21. We wanted to finalize the ambassadors, where these ambassadors will do an year-long internship with us to develop the real-time projects, to get exposed to the real-time world, to expose to the real-time corporate environment. We wanted this Phoenix ambassadors for 2020 and 21, for which the results will be published on 31st, based on your assignments, based on your academic performance, based on your certification, based on all the criterias that we have it. We will filter the Phoenix ambassadors. Got it? I repeat again, everybody who are part of this certification will be assessed based on your classroom performance, based on your academic performance, based on your MTA performance, based on your assignments that you have given. We consider all of this and we will filter the Phoenix ambassadors for 2020 and 21 in PVP SIT for this year. So finally, you guys, the people who are titled as Phoenix ambassadors for this year, will be will be offered with internship for an year, and you will be paid with stipend. You will be exposed to the real time environment, you will be exposed to the real time development, and you yourself will develop the real time projects. So that's how we wanted to give you a complete real time experience with the help of this program called Phoenix Ambassadors, and you will be titled as Phoenix Ambassador if you run through this proper channel. So if you could look at, the steps are very simple. You will have to attempt for screening exam, perform good in your screening exam, and after that people who have been shortlisted will be appearing for your ideation fest, and people who are part of ideation fest, and then you will be asked to attend for an international certification exam, and people who are doing good in your ideation fest and international certification, classroom performance, and all the other parameters, based on that you will be titled as Phoenix ambassadors for the year 2020 and 21. All right. So this is what we have it with us to do it. So for which we will now just get back to our training content that we have planned. So that's nothing but we wanted to cover up our Java object oriented programming. We'll continue with that. So before that, for any kind of questions with respect to the process, with respect to technology, or with respect to anything else, in fact, you can reach us at the rate devspark.in, And also you can WhatsApp us on 7386920305. I repeat again, you can WhatsApp us with any of your questions on 7386920305. Okay? Please send your queries, questions. You can reach us on this WhatsApp number, and please send your assignments, all the assignments and the blog links on nagakumar@devspark.in. Please send all of your assignments and your blog links on nagakumar@devspark.in. NAGAKUMAR@devspark.in, so that we will review your assignment and then take our and ensure that you are part of the filtration. And this is the content that will be part of your examination, that is on the international examination. This is what is your this is what it will be covered. The fundamentals of Java, data types, variables, expressions, what is your control flow, what is your implementation flow, that is nothing but how do you work with your conditional statements, how do you work with your loops, and how do you operate, how you steer your code. All that is part of your implementation flow control. And then you know how to compile and debug, how what is the execution process of program in Java. All that will be covered. And also you will be checked on your object oriented programming skills. So now we are done with all the remaining, but for this object oriented programming, we will brush up these object oriented programming concepts also, so that you you can do good in your certification. That is, people who wanted to get this certification, that is, people who wanted to get through this certification will have to score a minimum of 70%. People who wanted to score on this particular who wanted to get this certification will have to score a minimum of 70% marks. If you get 70%, only then you will be certified as a Microsoft Technology Associate. If you want to be Microsoft Technology Associate, then yes, you will have to get this score for sure. Got it. And this is how your certificate will look like. This is how you will have your certification from Microsoft with the signature of Satya Nadella. You will have the signature like this, from Microsoft with Satya Nadella signature, and then you will have a badge from Microsoft. This badge is what you can put it on your resume, so that you will be best identified as a certified candidate. When you appear for an interview, there will be like, assume that you take up your college. So in your college itself, you'll have like 200 students who will be appearing for a placement. Once your CV is being observed, once your resume is observed, then if you put this logo on top, then it will be understood that you are Microsoft certified. Then according to that, you can get the advantage of being filtered first, because you know technology and a company like Microsoft is certifying you. So that's the advantage of having this badge. You will get a certificate and a badge from Microsoft, which validates your skill, that you know things in Java, you know basics in Java. Now this is what we have to cover it today. That has nothing but your concepts of object oriented programming. Now in this concepts of object oriented programming, commonly when we say object oriented programming, we talk about inheritance, encapsulation, and all of these concepts that we normally look at. But why do we need to get into this object oriented programming? What is the use of object oriented programming? The fundamental use of object oriented programming is again the root concept, that is nothing but, while programming we should not bother about all the other things which are part of your programming, but for we wanted to focus only on the data that is being operated. The object oriented programming language says, please don't bother on the functional aspects, that is how the function is behaving, how the method is behaving, what is the procedure. Please don't bother on these procedural things, but please bother on the data that you are using. What is the data that is being operated on? Please concentrate on that. That kind of a facility is given by your object oriented programming. If you look at this design, or if you look at how this object oriented programming is evolved, if you could look at in the initial days, whenever we wanted to mitigate, whenever we wanted to communicate with a computer, with a machine, or with a system, then you had to communicate in the machine's language. We used to talk to the machine in machine's language, and for which we are supposed to learn that and then write it, or we are supposed to learn that and then talk to the machine, which means initially when the programming was done, that is the minimal programming concepts were there, the limited programming was there. In those days, the programming was done in machine language. Your programming, your communication was done in machine language, and then later on we have evolved to the next level, where we have been talking of something called assembly language, and where we have been trying to at least communicate on the binary aspects and then talking to the machine. And then later, we've got this programming called structural programming, where we are bothering on how the procedure oriented communication is being supported. How then came up with this procedural programming language. And in the procedural programming language, we are bothering on what is the function that is being called, what function is being called first, what function is called later, how the function is behaving with the parameters. All these kind of things have been bothered in the procedural programming language. And then we have been updated, we have been evolved with this programming language called object oriented programming language. I repeat again, initially we have been working with machine level language, that is your machine language, and then we have been working with the assembly language, and then we have been working with a structured programming language, and then we have been working with the procedural programming languages, and then we have been working with this object oriented programming language today. Now if you could look at if you could look at in the earlier days, even if you look at the examples today, there are even a lot of softwares today which are being used, where they still work on this black screen with some kind of instructions, where we give a single code so that the kind of program execution would go, or based on the zeros and ones values, that particular software is being utilized. If you could look at this transport agencies, say the transport agencies that I'm talking of, say maybe like Kranti Transports, or few other transports, local transports, that is logistic companies. If you could look at, even today they have this black monitor with some white screen on it, and there are a lot of things where you cannot use your graphical user interface. They don't have this mouse kind of an operations, on mouse will not work, you don't see images, but you have a black screen where you will have to give only the entry to it. It's like a form, and where you have, it's like a DOS command prompt. So it's like a black screen where you'll have to enter your character information. So there are a lot of softwares like that. And also there are softwares where you you install a complete operating system in a very very small chip, in a very very small chip. today we are using the complete operating system. And also, if you could remember, probably I've shown you a tool that is your Sylph OS, which is part of your browser. This is something which is an operating system which is part of your OS. Sorry, which is part of your browser. This is a complete operating system which is part of your browser. So that's the strength of technology today, where you can develop anything or everything, every complicated thing in a simplest way. You have a lot of things to do. And similarly, there are softwares which were from the very beginning, that is, which were part of this procedural development, which were part of even before that, they are also still being used. If this is what I wanted to explain it to you, the object oriented programming have given us the advantage of reusing the code is the first important thing, and it is giving you a very good security, and then it will give you the facility of interoperability. You can operate on the code is portable, the code gives you the interoperability facility, and also it will also give you the platform independent facility, because of which you run code onto any other platform, it works. You take your code, work in some other language, it supports. So that's the kind of an advantage that you have it with this. So it gave you a lot of liberty to work with the code. That's an advantage of using object oriented programming. Now, if you could look at the first and important concept of your object oriented programming, which is nothing but your inheritance. Inheritance is nothing but how do you reuse your code? How do you reuse your code based on the relationship of two classes? Now, I don't want to get into the discussion of what is a class, what is an object, and all of this, because it has been already covered. So, I'm talking of this inheritance, where inheritance is nothing but how can I reuse my code based on the relationships that I have with the classes. Now I have a superclass and a subclass. I have class A and class B, assuming that I have this class A and I have this class B. Now my class A has some data 1 and my class B has data 2. Now I want to utilize, I don't want to recreate the data. If at all I want to talk to A, or I want to talk to B, I want to get the data, that is data 1 or data 2, according to my requirement. If at all say I am interested in talking to the class A, now I want data 1 completely, and I wanted to have a very small portion of data B also to be utilized. Then in most of the functional programming, you you either used to talk to this with a proper procedure where you will have to re-implement, or you will have to rewrite the same portion of small code in your A class also. Now we overcome this model with the help of this classes concept, with the help of this concept, with the help of this object oriented programming, we overcome this, and we will have an advantage based on the relationship between the two classes. Based on the relationship between the two classes that we have it, we will try to utilize it. based on the relationship that we have it between these two classes, we will understand how to get this data. That's when, if say I call this A as a parent class and B as a child class, in that case, my B class can try to fetch the data of A into B. Inheritance is, if A is a parent class and B is a child class, then B can try to get the data of A into B because both of them are inherited. The inheritance says the class A data can be utilized in class B to an extent. The condition is class B should be a public class or a protected class. So I'm telling you with respect to object-oriented programming concepts that are being supported in the various programming languages. It is not only with respect to Java that I'm talking on, with respect to all the other programming languages too. So that's when the class A should be public as well, or it should be protected. Then class B can inherit the data of class A, where the class A is inherited by class B. In that case, I can get the data of class A into class B. Now, once we just come back here, now that kind of accessing the data of one class into other is obtained with this inheritance phenomena, where you have multiple ways of inheriting this data. You have multiple ways of getting this data. That that multiple ways are your single, multiple, multi-level, multiple is also called hierarchical, and then you have got your hybrid where the multiple kinds of inheritance can be brought together. Now we'll talk about the simple inheritance. The simple inheritance will tell us that the class A data is brought into class B. That is, the class A has some data. The access to that class A is obtained from class B. That is, the class B object can communicate with class A members and also communicate with class B members. Once you create an object for class B, then the memory allocation will happen for class B, and then the members of class A can also be accessed. I repeat again, once you create an object for class B, then the members of class B and also the members of class A can be accessed. Got it? This is called simple inheritance. Now, where do we use it, sir, normally? Where do we use this, sir? Now, you take this example of a calculator. Now, once you have your calculator in your computer, say we'll not take the calculator even, we'll take much more simpler example. Now, you have your uh, alarm application. Now, the alarm application is used to set the alarm. Now we wanted to write a program which is used to set alarm. Say 6 a.m. is the alarm. Once the time is 6 a.m., then it will have to raise an alarm sound. Now I'll give you multiple kinds of alarm sounds. You can choose and you can set. This is what is my application. My application is just an alarm application. ఈ అలారం అప్లికేషన్లో ఏం చేస్తాం మనం? అలారం అలారం షుడ్ రింగ్. ఈ అలారం ఎప్పుడు రింగ్ అవుతుంది? వెన్ ద టైమ్ ఈజ్ సెట్. ఈ టైం సెట్ చేయడానికి, ఆ టైం అవ్వగానే అలారం రైజ్ అవ్వడానికి నేను లాజిక్ రాశాను. నవ్ I will not go ahead and redefine the time also. No, I don't go ahead and redefine the clock also. మనం క్లాక్ మళ్ళీ రాయం కదా. క్లాక్ 1 సెకండ్కి ఇలా మూవ్ అవ్వాలి. 1 సెకండ్, సెకండ్ ఇంటర్వెల్ ఈజ్ 1 సెకండ్, మినిట్ ఇంటర్వెల్ ఈజ్ 60 seconds, అండ్ అవర్ ఇంటర్వెల్ ఈజ్ 60 minutes. అండ్ ఆఫ్టర్ అండ్ యూ డోంట్ గివ్ ద రిలేషన్షిప్ బిట్వీన్ మినిట్స్, సెకండ్స్ అండ్ అవర్స్. ఈ లాజిక్ అంతా మనం రాయము. What you do, you try to use the existing class. You try to inherit the properties of the existing class. you try to get the support of the existing class. ఆ టైం ఏదైతే ఉందో ఆ టైం క్యాలిక్యులేషన్ కి సంబంధించిన లాజిక్ ఏదైతే ఉందో యూ ట్రై టు డైరెక్ట్లీ యూటిలైజ్ ఇట్, యూ ట్రై టు కన్జ్యూమ్ ఇట్. ఇప్పుడు రియల్ టైం కేస్లో మనం ఇలాంటి అప్లికేషన్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు వాట్ వి సే, ఐ డైరెక్ట్లీ యూజ్ ద డేట్ క్లాస్. డేట్ క్లాస్ వాడుకుంటున్నాము. డేట్ క్లాస్ వాడుకోవడం అంటే యు ఆర్ ఇన్హెరిటింగ్ ద సపోర్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్, యు ఆర్ ఇన్హెరిటింగ్, యు ఆర్ యూటిలైజింగ్ ద మెంబర్స్ ఆఫ్ దట్ పర్టిక్యులర్ క్లాస్. ఆ క్లాక్ ఆ టైంని మనం డిఫైన్ చేయట్లేదు, ఆ డేట్ టైం అనేది మనం డిఫైన్ చేయట్లేదు. డేట్ ఎలా పెరగాలి, డేట్ ఎప్పుడు 24 hours అయిన తర్వాత డేట్ ఇంక్రిమెంట్ అవ్వాలి, అండ్ ఆఫ్టర్ 60 seconds ఐ షుడ్ ఇంక్రిమెంట్ ఎ మినిట్, ఆఫ్టర్ 60 minutes ఐ షుడ్ ఇంక్రిమెంట్ అన్ అవర్. ఇలాంటి విషయాలన్నీ మనం ఎక్కడ లాజిక్ రాయట్లేదు. వీఆర్ డైరెక్ట్లీ కన్స్యూమింగ్ ద డేట్ క్లాస్. Maybe it is part of your Java inbuilt classes or metadata lo undundొచ్చు, but still you are inheriting them, you are not writing this entire logic. So that's nothing but inheritance. You try to get the support of it. Now you try to get the support of the date class into your program, and you try to implement your alarm, or you try to set your alarm based on the class that is being inherited, or the methods of that class are being utilized in your class where you want to create your alarm. So అలాంటి కేసెస్లో we use simple inheritance. And then multi-level inheritance. What is this multi-level inheritance? Say for example, now you wanted to get the support of, say you wanted to write a logic where you wanted to get the content of class A into class B, and then there is a portion that is written in class B, and now class C can get the data of class A as well class B, but not directly, which means class A data can be accessed by class B and class B data can be accessed by class C. Hierarchically, you derive the things, that is, which means level by level. Class A is accessed to class B is accessed to class C. In those kind of cases, you utilize multi-level. Similarly, you wanted to have the hierarchical where you have one class which is being utilized by two classes, that is class A is being implemented by class B and class C. So which is nothing but you wanted to create two applications, that is one application which is for alarm and the other application for to-do list. I want to create a calendar timesheet, or what we call it as call sheet or timesheet or calendar. Now I want to create a alarm application and a calendar application. Now in alarm application where you want to set an alarm, in that case you use the date time class. And similarly, whenever you wanted to use your to-do list where I want to do this task at 6 p.m. on this particular day, then in that case again you need date time. Now the date time is utilized by both your class called alarm class, and it is also utilized by your calendar or to-do list class. So that's how one class is utilized by two different members. That's nothing but your hierarchical. And similarly, you can get it from class B, class C to class A. The reverse of this, where you have class B and class A and you get it into class A. That kind of inheritance is also possible. And then you have a hybrid inheritance, the combination of both of it, that is hierarchical and then your multiple. Both of them are shown here. You have which is your hybrid, where class A is inherited by class B and class C, and class B and class C are inherited by your class D. So that's how you inherit your things. There are multiple ways that you inherit your classes. So this is all about your inheritance that we have it in Java, and multiple inheritance is not supported in Java directly, but yes, we implement it with other various means. Now, the next important concept is encapsulation. Now, as I've told you, your object-oriented concepts will increase the reusability of your code. That reusability of code is obtained with the help of the concept called your inheritance. Now, once you have the facility of reusing the code, accessing to various classes. Now my class B is able to access the content of class A. When I'm trying to do this, then I should also ensure that the security of the code is maintained. The members and the member functions of that particular class are given with a security. When the data is placed into a class, or when the class is given with methods and variables which are nothing but your members and member functions of the class, all of them should be binded. You should create a create it's like a capsule where we put all of this content, all of this data, and bind it together as a single unit. That's called your class with an encapsulation. So a class with the binding of all the members as a unit is called encapsulation. You encapsulate it. You put all your members and member functions together as a single bunch with this encapsulation concept, where you try to give this facility of security with the concept called encapsulation, where you bundle them like a unit. And then the next concept of this security is called abstraction, where you try to hide your data. Whatever the essential data that you have it, that is basically hidden, and whatever is required, whatever the extent of security that you wanted to have, అంటే ఎంతవరకు మన డేటాని హైడ్ చేయాలి, ఎంతవరకు షోకేస్ చేయాలి అనేది we can implement it with the help of your abstraction. We create this abstraction, you create this data hiding with the help of two methods, that is we with the help of two ways that we have it. That is, you create an abstract class where you don't have any implementation but for the signatures, where you hide that entire implementation portion, and then you try to see showcase only the blueprint of your data is being shown, or the outline of your data is being shown with the help of your abstract classes and the interfaces. You hide your actual data, but for you showcase the outline of it with the help of your abstract classes and then interfaces. This is the kind of security that we have it. You encapsulate like a unit, and then you also give the data hiding to your actual data, so that the abstract feature, that is the security of your application or the security of your data, is enhanced. You are enhanced with a security feature where you have the liberty, you have the comfort of utilizing it with the help of inheritance, and you also have security with the help of your encapsulation and abstraction concept. This is what I've been talking of. So it's talking of the abstract class, and it's considered to be like a blueprint. All of this I've been talking to you. So now the next concept, where the reusability of the code, when reusability of the code comes into picture, then yes, this polymorphism is one other concept which is talking to you of implementing one class in multiple forms, or implementing one entity into multiple forms, is called your polymorphism, where you try to exhibit the behavior of the parent class in multiple ways. Now, in this example, if you could look at this, bowling is a method where that particular bowling is implemented in three child classes as a fast bowler, or a medium pace bowler, or a spinner, based on that. say once you have the bowler class with a bowling method, now this bowling method is again implemented in three means. That's the fast bowler and the medium pacer and then the spinner. So that's how we've got the implementation in three different ways. So one class being implemented in three different ways is nothing but your polymorphism. So you exhibit the one implemented class in multiple forms is what we learn in something called polymorphism. So this, if you could look at this polymorphism is talking to you on how to re-implement the existing code. The reusability of the code is obtained by your inheritance. Security is obtained by abstraction, and also by your abstraction and your data binding concepts with the help of encapsulation. I repeat again, your reusability of code is obtained by inheritance, security is obtained by abstraction and encapsulation, and a implementation of the code, that is with some small changes. If you want to re-implement it, in that case your polymorphism is helping you in order to work on it. So these are the four prominent features or the prominent concepts of your object oriented programming, which will leverage the advantage of writing code, which will give you the comfort of writing code by reusability and also giving security to your code. Now, whenever you are going through this object oriented programming concepts, there are certain words, certain keywords that come into picture. Those certain keywords are nothing but the keywords that come into picture, like your class and object, which I've told you I'm not into it because it's already explained. So there is something called superclass and subclass. So the superclass is nothing but the parent class, and the subclass is nothing but your child class. And also, whenever you're talking about encapsulation, you come across a term called data hiding, and then the second concept called data binding. Now you bind all of them together as a unit, which is called your data binding. That is, all the variables, all the methods that we are using it are bound together, which are called as which is called as data binding. Now the class, whenever you are talking about this class, there are certain things that come into your picture, that is nothing but modifiers. So what is a modifier that you are using with a class plays an important role. Whenever you are using a class, this modifier plays a very important role. That's nothing but whether the class is supporting the reusability or not, which means whether the class is public or a private member, or it has a default access. Now if you don't mention anything, it gives you the default access. You have got public modifier, you have got a private modifier. You've been talking about, you have been learning about this modifiers, I guess, where you have got a default access, you have got a public access, you have got a private access. That access is given based on the modifier. And then whenever you are talking about class, you should also talk about something called interfaces. Now the interfaces are like your classes, where they are implemented based on based with a keyword called interface. And whenever you wanted to reuse it, you don't use your extends keyword, but you use implements keyword. So whenever you are talking of these small things, you will have to remember them. Whenever you are working with inheritance, you want to inherit a class. In that case, you use this extends keyword, and whenever you are using the interfaces, then you will come across a term called implements, where the interfaces are implemented and the classes are extended. And whenever you talk about this object in your programming, in object oriented programming, the object and classes play the key role, where whenever you talk about this object, then you'll have to look forward for what is the state of this object, which means what are the attributes that are being represented by this object, which means what are all the things that what is the data that is being carried by this object. Say if at all I create a class for a human being, now that class will have the different features. Say the object of that human being will carry the features of a human being, which means the object will carry the features of a single brain, two eyes, and it will also carry the actions like shouting, crying, all these actions it will try to carry. Now this object will carry these attributes. Now the state will talk about what are all the properties or what are all the attributes that this particular object is carrying and can be utilized. That is called the state of your object. And then the behavior, that is nothing but the methods that can be implemented with the help of the object. The object that has the capability to implement the members, that is the methods of the class that is being utilized. And then it talks about the unique identity of the class. Now whenever you talk with respect to an object, that is if at all I have class A, if at all I create an object obj, now obj will talk about that particular class. It will uniquely represent the state and behavior of that particular class with the help of the unique identity that is created for the class. Now you can create n number of these identities for the class, which means you can create multiple objects and then use it for reference. And then once you come across the next term called method, where the method again will talk about this access modifier, and then we will talk about the return type, which means what kind of value that this method is returning, whether it is returning any value. If it is yes, then you will have to give the type. That is, the first thing should be access modifier, and then the return type, and then the name of the method should be given. So that's how you work with the signature of the method. Now you should talk about what is the access modifier and what is the return type with respect to that method is being prominent with respect to method concepts, and what are all the parameters that you pass with respect to a method. All that is also important, and how you are passing the message between, or how you are passing the values between methods with the help of the parameters, or you raise an exception. All that is part of your message passing. So these are the different terms that you come across, and you also come across certain terms called final. You come across the terms called super, where you can use it with the help of class, variable, and all of it. So that's how you work with the super keyword. You work with final keyword. You work with this return types, especially when you are talking about this void. You should be clear on all of these things, because you will you will be attempting for the exam which will be on multiple choice. If it is a theoretical exam, if you go wrong while your explanation and if you still have a small confusion, then it is okay. But when you have this confusion and when you attempt for a multiple choice question, if by chance if you confuse and choose the wrong answer, you will lose the entire score. If it is a theoretical exam, yes, you can score at least half of it. But in multiple choice, you have this disadvantage. You lose the entire mark for that particular question. So be thorough with this, prepare well, and today evening We will give you the link for your certification exam, sorry, for your screening exam. So your exam will start at 5 o'clock. So the link will be shared prior to that. The exam link will be shared prior to that, and you are supposed to appear for that screening exam. I repeat, everybody, you will have your screening exam from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock today, and the exam duration is only half an hour, and you will have all of them as multiple choice questions. Please ensure you prepare thoroughly and appear for your exam. Right? This is what we have it for today. We wanted you to be thorough with this object oriented programming and also the remaining concepts of Java, so that you are thorough with all of these concepts and continue. If you have any questions, now you can put it in your chat window. If you have any questions, please put it in your chat window with respect to your exam, with respect to your content, with respect to the patterns, with respect to the Phoenix program, anything. If you have, you can put it in your chat window. So the programs that we have given it on given it in a few classes. That is, initially we wanted you to write some code. So we have given you couple of programs. Day 1, day 2, and day 3, we have given couple of programs where we wanted you to learn out of it. Day 1, I hope it was about your keywords. Day 2 and day 3, I guess we have given you couple of programs. We wanted those couple of programs to send it on our email address. I'm putting my email address here again, nagakumar@devspark.in. See, it's based on the kind of requirement that you have. How do you operate? Say, if you wanted to operate between both the classes and then use it, then yes, you should have the relationship between both of them. No, sir, I wanted to run multiple threads in the same class and wanted to inherit, then it's your choice. Anything else? See, it's all dynamic. We are not informing you on the number of questions right now. We wanted you to look at it and plan it accordingly. But one thing that we wanted to be very clear, that all of them are multiple choice questions and the duration is 30 minutes. And please do remember, you learn all of these keywords also. It's important for you. Please learn all of these keywords also. Anything else? All right. So thank you so much, guys. Thanks for attending the session. So we will again catch up at 5 o'clock. I mean, we need not have to connect, but your exam link will be shared with you so that you attempt to your exam, and all the best for your exam today. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.